Hello again, golf fans. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Sunday. We are about to do our best to make it even better. This is the final round of the 2022 Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship, live from Ilsan. And you know that we mean business when we're not wasting time with weather graphics, with leaderboards. We are getting right out to the course to check in on Yi Ga-young, playing in the featured group with her closest competitor in this fourth and final round. Those two have started to create some serious separation between themselves and the rest of the pack. One player looking for their second championship of the season, the other looking for their first career win. This is Imi Jung. She was looking for a pickup on 10, having just gone through the opening 9 holes. She taps in for a par. She is +5 through 10. It was a round of 9 points accumulated yesterday, consecutive rounds of 10. Currently finds herself in sole possession of 4th position. Back to 9, ENG. She is at 41 points, 1 point back of her group mates. Going with the pitching wedge here and heading all the way to the back right of this 9th green. Almost a perfectly central location on the final hole of the East course. I'm sure many of you have been with us since the beginning. The true dedicated fans who do not want to miss a minute of the action of the LPGA Tour of Korea. But I'm also sure that there are a few of you joining us for the first time in this championship Sunday. Get used to that. The fist bump, Kim Ji-young too. She really turned it on in the late stages of her 3rd round yesterday, scoring 15 points, has another birdie, currently in a tie for 5th position after being nowhere through 18 holes. And if you are just joining us for the first time today, you are forgiven. You are also more than welcome. But what you need to know is that we are playing Stableford Golf this week. What that means, well, you'll see that gray column. Points, slightly different, still rewarded for birdies, for eagles, for albatrosses, not penalized for pars, and you will lose points for bogeys. So today, this week, you want to have a high score. You're with me? Albatrosses are worth +8, eagles are worth +5. Birdies are worth +2. Pars, again, nothing. You carry your score over. If you bogey, you lose a stroke. If you double bogey or shoot 25, it does not matter. You will only lose 3 points. Also here at the Ilsan Country Club, we have the 2 green setup on every hole but the 16th. So the example of that, this approach, which is absolutely sensational. Around the tree and on into a fantastic position. You are looking for either the right green or the left green. In this case, it was the right, and it was a very good one. Also the right green at number 9. That is what you need to know. Everything from here on out is just coloring those outlines. This is only the 2nd ever playing of this event. Lee Jung-min had won it last season, 2021. It was a fantastic 4-round performance from her when she was in that true incredible form that she just has not been able to rediscover this season. She missed the cut, but last year it was 19 points she accumulated in the final round here at Ilsan to win with 51 points. There is a very good chance that that mark is bested today, although the back 9 will be key. One more hole before they get there. This is the putt from off the fringe, and that goes the opposite direction. Heads right before slowly making its way back at the very end. Will still be another putt required for ENG. Saw a lot of the young supporters out yesterday. What better way to spend your Sunday? School's out. I'm sure the homework is all completed. Take in a round of golf. See some of the best in the world do it. There's so many that come from this tour at one point or another in their career. Park Young-young, she is at +33. It was a slow day yesterday. She has gradually diminished from that scintillating opening round of 15. Finds herself 9 back. Shots like that will help. Might be too little, too late, but you have to start one shot at a time. If she can pick up 3 or 4 birdies down the stretch, that would get her to +41. I mean, if there's an eagle thrown in there from time to time, hey, that will really make it interesting. But it just seems like yesterday especially, and her slow start again today, might have her on the outside looking in. Yi Ga-young was looking to finish by extending the lead at this hole. No birdies from either she or ENG. Chung Yoon-ji, she is also in this group. She is only at 2 points at the midway mark of her round 9, back as well in that time for 5th, and EA1. She is at 35 points. Again, yesterday, only 3 points accumulated throughout the course of the day. Setting up her approach, and we've seen a lot of that this week. We've seen a lot of that this season, to be fair, but out and going, pin seeking again. She's not out of it yet, but she needs to be more of the Friday putting, the Friday approach shots than she was yesterday. Now ENG to save the par, but she overpowers that one, catches the lip, and pops right on back out. So a bogey sees her drop to 40. Start of the round, birdies at 1 and 2, another one at the 5th, drops one at the end, so she goes out with 5 points picked up. Jung, this is at 11, 9 iron, 106 meters from the fairway. She's great at it, kicks a little to the left, but stays within 5 feet. Consider the round, the season rather, the rounds, multiple plural, she was able to put together last year, finishing 2nd in the money and in the points. Jung secured for Lee Young, so she will head to the back 9 with a 2-stroke cushion and about 2.5 hours away. Seeing if she can finally reach that top step. Already this year, a couple of times she's finished 2nd. Never before has she won. Jin Young, 4 birdies in a row. That is a very good run to go on midway through the tournament. Takes her as well into a tie for 5th position. And you can see the crowd swelling. Throwing to try and catch a look, take a picture, maybe even get one of these sign balls. That has become the tradition here at town, which is very cool. You'll see the massive vending machine looking setup that they have at the back. The players will go in, that's that white rectangular looking structure to our right side of the stands. In go the balls, out come the Sharpies, signs, tossing up for the autograph. It was a nice way to see them spend some of the time while they waited for the fairways to open up before the groups could be released for the back 9. If you are Bak Young, all you can do is go one shot at a time. Yes, the deficit is 9. Yes, Lee Young and ENG will likely pick up more points down the home stretch, but all she can do, focus on herself. This for birdie, a significant break. You can see she's lined this up about 3 feet to the inside of the hole, knowing it's going to take off the opposite direction pretty quick on this putt. Looking for a birdie, more of a diagonal move. That fades away, and with it, it's too early to say she's mathematically out of it because you do never know, but those are the kinds of putts yesterday. By my count, 8 different putts that would finish within 1.5 feet, 2 feet that would end up costing her 16 points. The complexion of this event for her would look drastically different, even if she had half of those near misses converted on yesterday. On pace, on paper, Lee Young would have far and away her best round of the event if she can keep up this pace. It's just been steady. No big swings. She's had 11, 11, 12, where we've had some players go 15, a couple of 14s, including Kim Soo-ji. For Lee Young, not quite as dramatic or polar on either side, just been consistent, good golf. ENG, opening round of 13. Friday was 8. Yesterday was 14. She is at 5 at the turn. She's been the 5th best player of these par 5s so far this season. The little extra torque she gets on the ball. She comes around with a vengeance. The fact that we can't see it from the fairway, not the best of signs. But we will find out in a few minutes just where exactly that did end up. We know it's right in towards that tree line. Now Now it's just a matter of where it stopped. And with this being the featured group, that's it through 10. So those bleachers, the stands in behind the teeing grounds will empty. And the fairways will see a whole lot more foot traffic as we go to 10. It was a brilliant setup shot. Slightly downhill putt from about 2.5 meters. She always hits these, even the putts that don't look like they need a ton of speed. She's very firm with that putter. Great when there's a wide open cup or a stick to help it drop, but it's also a high risk, high reward if you're slightly offline. That's a nice birdie. Good way to start the back nine. Now 11, Kim Ji-young 2 inside of 5 meters, has enough to go. Is now 3 in a row, her 5th of the day. Already at 10 points collected through just 11 holes. That's a very, very strong start to the round. It's definitely the rhythm, the trajectory you'd love to be in as we go to 13. 6 iron on the par 3 for Kim Ji-young. 85th in the money this season, 78.5 million won. Lands this on the right side, a little short as well. 402nd ranked golfer this season. She was hardly ranked at all until April when she began her first pro season. From 1200th in the world to 400th is a pretty exceptional climb. And Kim Ji-young has another that sets her supporters off into plenty of volume back there. Young, her best Rolex ranking this season has been 69th on the planet. She is still inside the top 100, though that is cooled rather drastically from her best of the year. Tied for 29th last week at the 22nd Untitled Chapter Championship. Tied for 37th at the Hana Financial Group Championship. Missed the cut the week before that. The OK Financial Group Seri Pack Invitational. Another finish outside of the top 50, 2 consecutive cuts, a withdrawal. It has really gone downhill since a pretty good middle of the season. Tied for 12th at the Ever College and Queen's Crown, tied for 10th at the Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic, but has not been able to get this high up the leaderboard since then. In total, 2 podium finishes that I alluded to earlier, 4 other top 10 finishes. Narrowly missed the fairway to the right side, landing in that second cut. Come awfully close to the tree line. It's another situation where she'll just have to lay up. Here she comes. Threw the ball well. You could hear the contact it made, and she is able to get back out into the fairway. Years old, 14th in the season prize money list, 16th in the points. Her 24th event of the season, following up 38th place finish last week. As we go to 11 with the rookie, EA1. Has the driver back out. Yesterday was substantially down from a good start to the tournament. Will just roll down back onto the fairway. Well, heads up along the cart path. Scatter everybody. Goes to the opposite side and rolls down the hill. That is not going to be a very pleasant second shot for Pak Young Young. You could tell by the body language after that missed birdie at the last that she has nearly mentally checked out. 9 points back and in a treacherous lie on the 11th hole. Still on the front page of the leaderboard, tied for 7th with Chung Yoon-ji, who's also having an equally slow day, while the other 6 players above them are picking up birdies left and right, including Im Jin Young. Young woman off to a great start to her final round. This is the 2022 Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship. More from Meek-san in a moment. Well, here we go then, back with Im Jin Young. That was an effort for a birdie that was pulled to the inside. Remarkable the final round, especially. She's been able to put together her best of the season, the Teijunia MBN Ladies Open, where she finished tied for 6th. But the consistency has not been there this season. After that, tied for 29th is her best. 14 missed cuts out of 24. These are glimpses of what she can do when she puts everything together. That is the challenge for any golfer, especially at a young age, is the consistency and the ability to execute in all facets. Driving, approach, recovery, putting, and just keeping the emotions in check on a championship Sunday. Jeannie, this is her 3rd of the par 5. After having to lay back up into the fairway, she is able to get on. The front quarter, it'll be a downhill punt, still for a birdie with this being a par 5. But you have to, of course, wonder, had she put that in the fairway, maybe the eagle would have been on for a longer hitter like she is. 3A1 at 11, back-to-back rounds with a bird. 120 on this approach. Heads left, rolling rather ominously towards the fringe, and that is a long way away. She knows that slow and steady might just be the recipe for success. She laid up on the second instead of risking it all. Plays it safe and allows herself to attack the green from a great position. This is about middle of the way through and comes up less than 3 feet shy of yet another birdie. She does have the advantage that, barring some kind of miraculous eagle from Im Jin, is in her hands from this point forward, with a birdie already as a cushion. You found Pak Young. Ball is about 2.5 feet below her stance. Tough to get any grip. Pete Moss back here. There's great contact and just a mound of mud. Works it back over to the fairway. In between the 2 greens even. Just a little layup. No business executing like that from a miserable lie. And that's the secret. If you're going to make mistakes, you have to be able to make up for them as well. She's done precisely that. And now Amy Jung, 125. Just from the rough, 73%. Her greens in regulation. Consistency has been her key. She's going to kick over as she carries beyond the bunker. Finishes just north of pin high. That was the roar for Pak Young's recovery. Now Im Jin between the 2 ball markers and pulled away from her bird. Thinking about her win back in July, it was only a 3-round event. Open 5 under, and then 3 under in rounds 2 and 3. To try and set up the par for Pak Young. Tunes out the irritating rev of the engine in the background. Sets herself up for what should be an uneventful finish to the hole. She's had enough drama already today. Usually I'd call this bold with half a round still to go, but that's how good these two have been. When we show a leaderboard with just 2 names on it, you know things are getting serious, and that gap can extend to 4. Keeps the flag in on a little right to left and converts yet again. 44 points, 8 holes to go. Can she keep her composure with it truly being her tournament to lose now? She'll have 4 of her next 5 holes as par 4. She's played those extremely well. As we go back to the rook, EA1. That was the realistic outcome from there. Can't call it best case scenario because the best case scenario is that it's in the hole and she doesn't need to tap it in. But those consistent, precision-filled attacks of the hole from the opening 2 rounds are what she's been missing at the weekend. I'm having no problem calling this a must-make for par. Must-make and must-made. We'll go with that. Starts the back 9 with the bogey, or with the par, excuse me. Avoiding the bogey, what I'm after. Now, back in again, also trying to save a par. Able to capitalize on the putter. It's been her most successful and reliable club in 2022. Has another par there. Now this to move to 38. She's been averaging less than a putt and a half per hole. Basically every other one. Holes, that is, has only needed 1 putt. As we give you the tour of 11. The second hole on the West Course. First of back-to-back par 4s. The first of 4 and 5. 359 meters the distance on this one. If we were playing the right green, you could call it a dogleg right, but we're not. So you have that welcoming wide fairway. It does narrow as it starts to meander to the right. From that in-play point in between 130 to 90 meters. It's a short wedge up and over the sand onto the green. The pin placement today in the final round, it is front and middle. That is if you are walking on from the fairway, so it's going to look a little bit more to the right on your screen. Means you don't want to be short with that very large and welcoming bunker. While waiting a mistake, also have that ribbon of sand at the back as well. There is the flag, and it is a fairly kind slope. You're able to just go beyond the fairway and onto the front. Birdie, bogey, birdie. That's been the lay of the land for Yiga Young. Not trying to do too much, just a simple swing, a good one. Starts in the fairway. Ginny's turn to step up. Delivers a good one. uneventful as it should be off the tee at a par 4. And first par 3 of the back nine, 7-iron for Im Hee-jung. It's a wonderful sound of good contact. Intentionally cutting that across into the fairway. On two's tee shot. She's able to get on, but there is still quite a distance to traverse on the way back towards the hole. The approach shot, 9-iron in hand. Oh, she uses the fringe to absorb all the energy and finish just a few short feet away. And the heartbreak of the events where you come as the runner-up knowing how close you were, you have to be able to learn the lessons. Bring it with you the next time you're in that position, and it seems like that's precisely what Lee Ga-young has done. Genie is looking a little bit right, also uses the fringe as an ally. Slows it up and is a little bit further out. Two good, promising looks for birdie, excuse me, will come next on their first par 4 of the back nine. But if Lee Ga-young converts and Im Genie cannot, I'm almost ready to call it game, set, and match with the way that Lee Ga-young is playing. It's a brilliant day thus far. Bottom of the clock, 1:30 p.m. local time on a mostly overcast day, and Iksan. The cream has risen to the crop. Now it's just who can outlast the other. Lee Ga-young, definitely the pole sitter at the moment. Well, those LFASI point standings will be updating very, very shortly. EA1, she's currently sitting 6th. She is right up there with Im Hee-jung in terms of those in the top 8 who are towards the top of this leaderboard. Peng Min-ji, she had taken the week off, and that gap is so small to Jihan Sol that it is possible that she is overtaken. But that, of course, is dependent on what Jihan Sol would be able to do, and we know that there is no Jihan Sol this weekend. So that should be at least safe from that particular challenge. She missed the cut by the end of round number 2. She actually dropped 2 points on Friday to go down 50 positions and finish tied for 74th. She allowed the deduction for the missed cut. Min-ji won't lose points for missing any cuts because she took the week off, and she certainly deserves it after her major championship win last week. It is 2 protagonists in the running. Im Genie, Lee Ga-yeon, former the first to putt for birdie. From our perspective, this will slide a little left to right. It's about 6.5 meters out. She didn't have it online. She is watching this event figuratively slip through her fingertips like a handful of sand by the hole. That is massive advantage to Lee Ga-yeon. Was short and right off the tee for Im Hee-jung. It's a nice up out of the sand. Now the question will become, can she get back down? To 12. EA1, it is 107 meters. 91% GIR. Greens in regulation, GIR. She has another, not an incredibly accurate position, but something to work with for sure. And this is where the attention should be rightfully paid at the moment. She is not always capitalized. Only 50% in these scenarios, but she's given herself so many of them that eventually they add up to bolster the advantage. Oh, the full revolution. That's 360 degrees, another 180. It does drop in the end. A little bit of drama, a little bit of panache. Watch this in slow motion. Whoop! Down it goes. 6 more points collected. 46 is the total. That is 3 full birdies clear. Even a par and an eagle wouldn't be enough for Im Genie to catch her. She could probably par out from here and still feel like she has a chance. Because at the moment, it seems like she's the only player recording birdies on a consistent basis. The out from the sand to set up the par is mishit from Im Hee-jung. Now this is must-make territory again. Maybe 3 feet. Gets herself settled in and rolls in the par. She doesn't start finding some birdies, it won't be long before EA1 could potentially catch her. Needs to have some birdies if she's going to continue to climb the leaderboard. That's a good one. Weller, second in 3, up to 39 points and just 1 back of the runner-up position. It's a good end to the 12th hole, and that is where our featured group is headed next. 10 meters shorter than the previous hole. This one, no doubt, you would call a dogleg left. Very narrow fairway as well. This is a tricky one. It can force some mistakes. .195 meters from the teeing ground to the end of that bunker on the left. Down that big lone tree in the middle of the fairway to split it up. The bunker basically the same size as the left green, and you have to carry over it. There's a big trap to the right as well if you're really offline. And then the flag we just saw where EA1 had come from, front left in this fourth and final round. She is already matched her best score of the week, the 12 points she picked up in round number 3, and she still has 7 holes to go. She might not just win this event, she might shatter the course record by Lee Jung-min of +19. All of a sudden looking poised to take over that second position from ENG. This is her tee shot at the par 3 13th. Lands in the center. Slightly further out than the birdie she had just made. Not for one moment in her rookie season did she look like she was anywhere but where she belonged. She is matured, developed, blossomed in front of the supporters of this tour and amongst her peers. Well, it's a dogleg left, but that is a very, very tight line. Misses the fairway for ENG. She went for a little bit more, almost all the way to the tree. How much of a cut she had there. Down to sole possession of 8th, just hanging onto a top 10 finish by a thread. That will help. That will help in a very big way. There are currently 4 players level on 35 points, so birdie here would bring her right back up into that fray. And for someone who does not historically play par 3s well, that's nothing short of spectacular. This is the round thus far. Out with a 32. That translates to 8 points. And back-to-back birdies to start this back 9. She's made 7 of her 9 fairways in regulation, 8 of her 11 greens in regulation as well. Contrast that with her closest competitor, ENG, who started with back-to-back birdies. It looked like, look out is what it looked like. She was red hot off the start of this event. Her last birdie, though, came at the 5th, a bogey at the 9th. And just hasn't been able to play that level of consistency. This is that brilliant start to her day. Her approach shot at 1. Straight at this flag, just a few short feet away. And if you're Ega Young watching that, you're thinking, oh no, this could be a long day. Just as you've accepted the fact that it's a great start for ENG, she goes and does that on the very next hole, doubling down in a big way. But Ega Young said, okay, you're not the only one that's going to have some birdies here early in the day. Would find her first at number 2. And you know that any fan, you have your favorites, and then you're always rooting for the first timer, for an underdog. Likely would not have been high on many people's list of favorites for this event in terms of who they truly believed would win. But in terms of a 4-round performance, this has been breathtaking. She would also go back-to-back. That would take her to 38 points at that point. And then she'd have another. Hanging over the hole and dropping. 3 in a row, 2, 3, 4. Ginny finally was able to answer again. That was at the 5th. 41 points she would go, but that was it in terms of the birdies, at least for now. Had that bogey at 9. Meanwhile, Lee Ga-young just continued to attack these front located greens. That's how close she came to an eagle. Her lead could be 9 instead of 6. Loops around and kicks right back out. And this is the aforementioned missed par at 9. This was one of the first shots we saw today on our side of the broadcast. Usually going out with a 34, the final round of an event would be just a-okay for a leader. Not to be when Stableford offers big time points. This was the last 44 points as she goes off the fringe, bounces once, bounces twice, rolls just a few feet away. Still has to hit these though, and she is doing it, though this one with bit an extra something to it. And that is where she currently finds herself at plus 12. The only other plus 12 so far today is Chuhei Reem, who is in to finish at 32 on her aggregate score. Young was clear of that mark by day's end yesterday. As we go to 14 and, oh goodness, 200 meters deep into the forest. I'm curious what this looks like. It looks like trouble. How in the world? That's how, apparently. How she didn't hit a tree is almost a miracle in itself. She had a vague idea of where she needed to be. She had ropes, she had plenty of tree trunks in her path, and she goes, "I'll just avoid that, thank you very much." Roll over we go. Now 12, just over 90 meters, and she went for that little extra, nearly 250 off the tee. Just crushed. What can she do with this short yardage scenario? Despite being that near, she is stuck before the fringe. Back to EA1, she could leapfrog even Ginny for second, but this might just be a little too far away, where every little variable is exponentially compounded. It is indeed pushed away. It is par at the par 3 13th. Just 5 holes to try and take that runner-up position away. Now the layup for Amy Jung. Oh, coming close to holing out. If she would have saved a birdie from where she was off the tee, that would have been nothing short of a miracle. Well, all of those supporters, for the most part, were desperately hoping to see a return to a title for Park Young. Might just be short this week, but she is still delighting with that putter. 35 she goes, able to reach that 5-player tie for 4th position. And Lee Young right at the hole. Carried a ton of speed. The birdie streak had to end at some point. That's a great par. That's the roar from the Park Young birdie. Junior trying to tune that out. She has just a little flop up. Oh, so close. Only is it cloudy. Looks like the sky might just be ready to open up. Drop a little rain on the fields. Yeah, one shot shaping again with driver. She's not going to get out of that second cut of rough. Imagine the roar, the ovation, the celebrations. If she can get to the finish line, nobody stands in her way. Through 12 holes, 6 to go. 2 of those will be the short par 3s. Lee Young is in a brilliant position to win her first ever championship. She just has to get it across the line. More from the 2022 Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship in a few moments from a rather gloomy Eeksan Country Club. Suji was our new points leader. Likely will remain as such by the end of the day. She's on the 14th hole and has not picked up a single point all day. Goose egg with 5 holes to play. Speaking of 13, this is where we find our featured group, Iga Young. The par 3s have been something of her Achilles heel. It is well wide and away from the flag. She could afford a bogey or two in the home stretch, but I think she has her mind set firmly on par as we go to 14, 106 meters for Pak Young Young. Rounding the bend nicely. Get another fortuitous landing position. That fringe, again, playing a little bit softer today, a little bit more cushion, just absorbs all that speed and pops the ball out onto the green. It is 6 iron for Imjini. She too is going to roll quite some distance away. Jung Yoon-ji, the best tee shot of the bunch. She is still just 4 points and a tie for 4th, but she is 11 back at this point. As big as I've seen the gallery yet. You can understand why. Just onto the rough, EA1, 87 meters. She lands front middle. Widens out from there, slightly off center to the right. Not a bad spot to be. Not a fantastic one either, though, on the other side of that coin. 138, 8 iron. Par 4, 15th for Im Hee-jung. This will be a bit of a lengthy birdie putt, but she is on. Just trying to set up and escape 13 with a par. Probably about 20 meters away. And it's downhill, so this is going to continue to pick up speed. Takes her about 4 feet away. Well, if she wants any realistic chance at staying in the fight, she'll need to get the better of Iga Young in these rare occasions where birdies and therefore points are not found. .8 meters downhill left to right. Tricky the math backs it up, only 16% past success rate here. That's headed right on line. Okay. Back in the mix. Yiga Young had to watch that all the way. Even she would have to commend the effort. She knew a couple of seconds early. She knew before anyone else. The gap down to 4. 5 holes to play. Never say never. Cold streaks are entirely possible for even Yiga Young. Game 1 is slightly offline. Now, the importance of this par has taken a turn for the more important. A split second where it seemed like that might be a little too quick. It's enough online, so through no fault of her own, other than some more continued difficulties with these short holes, the gap is even tighter. Pak Yang is looking at a birdie. Starts to come back. There it is. So up to 37th. She goes outright 4th. On 7 points for the day.
하겠습니다.
That was a challenge issued by her partner. I'm coming for you with that birdie. That's the message. I'm sure it was received loud and clear. Able to roll in that par. A fun little joust between those two on the way in. Jockeying for the podium. Number 15 next with ENG. Also salutes the fans with that. Also on to 37 points. +8 on the day. She is always very grateful and good to that very loud section of support. Little gestures like that go a long way with them. Well, this is back into the comfort zone for Yiga Young. Not so much the case for ENG, who has struggled today with driver. Again, going bold and finding a ton of success. That is unbelievable. Could not have shaped that any better.
자, 플레이하겠습니다. 멈춰주세요. 잠시만 멈춰주세요.
She's not often going for the bold move. Just going for the smart move. She finds a happy medium there. Rolls it down also to the
이동 좀
left edge of the
멈춰주세요.
fairway. And in genuinely a span of just 3 minutes, things got a whole lot more interesting, which is what we love. We love a race to the finish. High stakes, high risk, high reward. That kind of Sunday. It's a 4-point lead through 13 holes, EA1. Park Young, they are on to the 15th at 39 and 37 respectively. Im Hee-jung also in at that marker with 8 points picked up today, though she is on 16, down to just 3. Would basically need an eagle at 17 and a couple birdies to give herself a realistic shout, unless there's some birdies at the top. More from event number 26 of this season at Iksan after a short pause.
지금 92.
Well, the most exciting stretch of any tournament. Especially when things look a certain way. Get that dash of not so fast. It's a 52-degree wedge for Lee Ga-young. She's just going to roll on. Could be a case of perhaps too much loft for a change. On the shallow pin placements, you have no quarrels with that drastic arrival on the fringe, but when you're in the center of the green with the flag, it is not exactly where you want to be. As we go 215, this is EA1. She's driven the ball much better today, much more steady, much more often. Prime birdie making position. Now 70 meters for Ingini. She can once again force the issue a little bit with the birdie. It's due for a valley. She's going to get a better roll. That will be about 5 feet. Now, she has to convert, of course, but if she does, and if Lee Ga-young fails to do so, it is just a one-hole advantage, and you can see the swagger. It's more of a strut down to the green than it is a walk. I think Ingini's got her swagger back. 16. Amy Jung, it's a pitching wedge. It is the middle of the green, 10 yards off its front, and it's short. I have not seen too many of those sand trap catchers. Well, this is the second event in the month of October. We are off to Alpensia next week. Heading to Pyeongchang and that resort where we will have our 3-round event beginning on Friday. Of course, sees its fair share of golf in the summer months, but it was also where the cross-country skiing and biathlon were held in the most recent Olympics that Korea had hosted. Finally heading northeast again. It'll be great to be back. There are so many unbelievable resorts and facilities up in that area. That cushion no longer as safe as it felt a few minutes ago. The drama intensifies. 2:20 p.m. local time in Iksan. There was a brief moment where it felt like it was up for grabs completely. And about 45 minutes later, it felt like it was Lee Ga-young's to go. And now, how drastically things can change in just a couple of holes. Well, there were 9 meters to go for Ige Young on 14. She got about 8.8. Needed a little tap. Comes up short. And the door, if it was open a crack before, it is wide open now. EA1 playing her approach shot at 15, 148 from the fairway. Wind starts to pick up a little bit as the conditions just make themselves a little bit more challenging in this final hour or so. William Genie. You have the advantage right now. Yeah, Young watches on with bated breath. This is where you need to be as mentally solid away from the actual shot making. The wheels are turning. The doubt creeps in. Am I gonna come close again and not be able to cross the line? It's out of her hands at the moment. Now at the same time, the challenge is also in this position. Stealing your nerves. Understanding what's on the line for birdie. No, pulled it. Wow. She was just handed a gift on a silver platter. She fumbled it. Well, that is a lifeline for Ige Young. If there was ever a wake-up call for both of these players, it's now. On one side, it's a massive exhale in the belief that I need to pull things together. On the other, it's I'm not out of it, but I have to step up. Speaking of stepping up, that's a step up and a little showing out for Amy Jung. Out of the sand to just about 1.5 feet away. She'll be able to save her par. Flipped on up, rolling ever closer. Well, we just got a big jolt of energy, waking everybody up for the final 4 holes. This is 15. The water off to the right. 371 meter par 4 off the teeing ground into the fairway. Relatively level off the tee, and then it goes downhill in a big way as there is water on each side of the fairway for the second shot. There's the perimeter sand just before the water. You have the long bunker that separates the 2 greens. You have one more off to the right. And the pin today, it is 12 yards from the front, 6 yards from the left fringe. If you want to land centrally, almost perfectly in the middle, you'll get a bit of help, especially if you can drive it well. Leave yourself with a short wedge with some backspin. 1.21 putts per hole, 5 missed greens in regulation, but only 2 missed fairways. She has driven exceptionally well today, looking to continue that. She'll just roll through. You can add another maid. Out of this hole, the short par 3, and then the shorter playing par 5 that is open for business in the eagle category. And then we finish with the par 4. She's still there. I think anything less, though, than 2 birdies in this home stretch wouldn't be enough. There's the drive. Blasted again. Does the accuracy accompany it? It does. A1 has her par at 15. Stays at 9 points picked up on the day. The best kind of slideshow. It's Park Young acknowledging the supporters at 10, throwing a couple signed souvenirs their way. I'm also absolutely taken by the jeggings. That's a look. I don't like that bit of fashion. Giga Young, the fist bump, the elation on her face. Hard not to be in a bubbly, happy-go-lucky mood. When you're so close to your first win, you can almost reach out and touch it.
실례하겠습니다.
One of her most important approach shots of the day. Again, she's headed to the par 3 next. Birdie would go a long, long way. It's about a similar yardage to the remarkable birdie that Ginny had just a couple of holes ago. She was given a gift on the green at the last from Ginny, not one that she wanted to part with. Gust of wind as she sets up here. It's 149 meters remaining. She's short again. Well, we were getting awfully close, and by we, I mean, of course, me. I was getting awfully close to being ready to say this is it, done and dusted. Start engraving the name on the trophy. We're reminded we got to play 72 holes for a reason. Jung, with the wind at her back, is not able to push it all the way through, having played with hybrid there. The leaderboard should not look like this. It should look like a 46 and a 44. A little late round drama helping kickstart the final 4 holes. roll from here to the finish line. Every one of these is her most important shot of the day. 14 meters from the fringe. She comes close. But remember, as is plainly obvious, this is not horseshoes. That does not count for much. It can mitigate, but at this stage in the tournament, it doesn't really assist. It is a par. You can call it a nice one, but she needs a little bit nicer if she wants to get back to the top. And the pendulum, it keeps on going back and forth, as is its sole purpose. It stays true in sports, and golf especially. 10 minutes ago, the shoe was on the other foot. It was ENG with a chance to condense the deficit to just about nothing. Now, she's the first to par, and the advantage goes back to the leader. Right to left downhill putt, needs to stay true. Breaks away and keeps on rolling. The bogey does little other than make the likelihood of a playoff a little bit smaller. Would still make it a 2-hole swing, barring an eagle at 17, which we haven't seen a ton today. Kim Ji-young is the most recent to attempt it. No big late dramatic splash on the penultimate hole. It should be another birdie. EA1. She has just been biding her time, minding her business a little bit. In third. She was able to clear the sand, but also comes up short. That's a nice little start of a move back left. After this putt, there will be just 2 holes remaining. She is on pace for her 3rd lowest round of the event. As we return to the 15th, the flag goes back in. This angle doesn't do it justice. This is not simple. Far from straightforward. She's going to have to earn it. A miss and the lead is 3. A make and she carries that 2 birdie advantage. Nicely done. The pressure like water off the duck's back. Rolls right off. And that is a glimpse into what must be a mind that is racing a mile a minute. To 17. Imi Jung needs to get that up a little bit higher. Okay. She makes that birdie. She moves into a tie for 3rd.
앞에 좀 빨리 이동해 주세요.
That's a dramatic backdrop for the final par 3 of the event. Genie still has the honor. Our birdie back at 13. Last par 3 we saw, averaging 1.53 putts per hole, 4 missed greens, 5 missed fairways on the par 4s and 5s. Looking back at this hole, through her tournament thus far. Pars Thursday and Saturday. Birdie on Friday. She's picked up 3 in total. These final 3 holes for Iga Young. Her record at 16, all pars. 17, 2 birdies the first 2 days of the event. She bogeyed the 18th on Friday. Jung Yoon-ji is still just at 4 for the day in terms of the points she has collected. Directly over that short tree in the center before the water. Over the sand it must go. Seen a lot of pitching wedges here. Imjini's gone for a 9. Probably won't be a full swing. Call it 80%. Tremendous. Putter has to get hot these final few holes to have any chance. She has never finished second in her career, going all the way back to 2017. This is her 102nd event, Team Genie. A 2-time winner. And once this season as well, she has finished 3rd. A tie for 3rd at the season opener. Iga Young, 4 times in her career, she has been the runner-up. Trying to change that today. It's a bit of helpful backspin. That has par written all over it, which would continue the trend she's had this week. Opportunity gone by the wayside. Birdie, birdie, par. Thursday through yesterday. EA1 on 17. Rolls in a birdie for her 6th of the day. It's 12 points collected with just 1 hole to play. She's arrived on the island. Doesn't quite carry the same lore as Sawgrass. It is 16 instead of 17. It is still a breathtaking bit of architecture. This course that was opened in 1971. last year with the first playing, the first edition of this event, celebrating the course's 50th anniversary. It's twice as old as just about everyone competing. This seasoned like a fine wine over time. Sun Country Club. I will say this part of the calendar, this part of the year, doesn't always show the foliage or the blooms. It can be tough to have the course stand level with its peers, but Sun has definitely shown up and shown out. It's been in immaculate condition. The weather the first 3 rounds was wonderful. We get a little bit cloudier today. The way it's played, it's been conducive to plenty of low scores, many a highlight reel holes. Would be one of the final nails, I think, if she has this birdie. Improbable, not impossible. That's quick. It's on line. It's finally a birdie on the par 3. I think she can take that putt 50 times. She might make it once. But in that moment, she only needed to make it once. Here's how it looked from the other side of the green. It's quick. Up the hill at the end and online the whole way. Even ENG applauds. She can recognize a brilliant display with the putter. Good sportsmanship as well. She'll understand that that probably puts it away. Probably being operative. And it basically means that, not required, but eagle is probably going to need to be on the horizon at 17. Park Young's trying to set hers up. Gonna roll all the way down. That's not a bad spot to be for someone who putts as well as she does. She's given herself an opening here. Still trying to reel in EA1 for that 3rd and final podium finish. Bit of a dip in form for ENG the past couple of weeks. Tied for 38th last week. The week before, tied for 49th after nearly cracking into the top 10 again. She's definitely top 10. She might just be second. Trying to match her group mate's birdie. Oh, that started to roll. Teetering on the edge, and then it came back and stayed short. Watch this closely. It's going to get there. It's going to start. It's going to think about it. And then it sits back down. Hand to head in a bit of disbelief. 70 holes down, 2 to play. Advantage is significant, maybe insurmountable. Now EA1. What a ride she's been on. Came with a lot of gravitas, even as a rookie. In March, before the season began, she was ranked 351st in the world. She's up to 46. Just 1 down from her career best. 3 of her last 5 events have been on the podium. She's been that dominant at her very young age. Speaking of dominant, that is just gorgeous. Highest she was in the world rankings this year, 31, currently 52, top 10 last week, just outside the top 10 the week before. Top 6 of the OK Financial Group Serie Pack Invitational, 3rd at the KB Financial Group Star Championship. She is a 5-time winner in her career. 2019 was her best year with 3 titles, a runner-up, and a P3. This would be the 25th top 10 finish of her career. But guarantee it's going to be the 18th top 10 finish for Iga Young. But she's just had this air of peace and confidence, and that's a dangerous combination for a golfer when their mind can be at ease and just let the game do the talking. What is also on here, she can finish birdie or even come away with an eagle here, which is not quite in her game. She's not the biggest power hitter. She would pip by 1 stroke. Lee Jung-min's 51 to win it all from last season. Starts it by just rolling off of the fairway to the left. There's some movement on the fairway that catches her eye. She steps off and will go through the routine once more. Almost has to have an eagle here. Averaging 230 meters per drive. That is plenty at 17. She is also just going to sit in the rough, but that's about as kind a piece of rough as you will find on tour. Made the comment a few times, but with the way the majors had been laid out, the conditions, anything in the rough was almost a guaranteed par at best. Not the case here, where they're looking for the low scores. Now EA1 back across the face of the green. Out to the right by the slimmest of margins. The long walk around the water. Down to the final 2 holes as we near the top of the clock, 3 p.m. local time in Iksan. as we always do, and as we plan to do today, as soon as the result is made official, barring some kind of shock finish that would require a playoff, we will see the groups sign their cards, go through the final round highlights, and then go down to the 18th green for the awards presentation. Well, the win's not going to happen today, but a podium is still on. Park Young looking for an eagle. Reached for a little bit more pace. And rolls about 3 meters beyond the hole. ENG was in this situation in the major last week. Walking down the final few holes, trying to force the issue. This year they've each won their first championship. It might be their group mate today who gets her first. And look at the size of that gallery. It's a sight to behold. Every now and then you have to see pictures like this to remember what we were missing during the peak pandemic years, where the supporters, for everyone's safety, weren't allowed to be here. The players had to be their own rivals, their own biggest fans, all in one. Kept an unbelievable morale throughout. Another birdie. Up to +9 for the day, which would be tied for her best round of the week. Tied for third with just 1 hole to play, the 72nd and final. A little cleanup. Little landscaping, if you will, for A1 before she makes this putt.
플레이하겠습니다.
Nice make. Third birdie of the back nine, 6th of the day, so the time shared at the podium, Park Young, is very short-lived. It was a matter of 30 seconds, maybe a minute. These are the totals from the entirety of the week. 170 birdies, 150 pars, 11 bogeys only, 1 double bogey, and 9 eagles. Most of those eagles had come in the first 2 days. From the rough, from this distance, I think the hybrid would be almost a guarantee.
플레이하겠습니다.
It's 192 remaining meters of distance. There go the supporters. They want the eagle eye view. It's gone right. She was around this position yesterday by the trees. Has a much more narrow landing zone. One last chance for birdie for Amy Jung, and one last birdie made. 3 times through 4 rounds, she finished with 10 points. Follows up on an exceptional showing at last week's major by finishing the tournament in fantastic form, tied for 4th at the moment. Nobody from outside the top 10 can catch her, so you can add another to her brilliant career total. 5th of the season, 25th in her career. Genie about 20 yards closer. Propped up nicely in the rough. For the drama, you want to see this about 6 meters or closer. Oh, it's headed right. She's gesturing as such. Don't think it was as dramatic as perhaps she feared. She is almost side by side with Lee Ga-young, which is fitting considering it has been really these two battling each other for the past 2.5 days. Tell it's been a bit windy the past little while with the amount of fallen leaves littering the teeing ground. Well, very little to lose. Park Young goes left. Got a little bit greedy.
플레이하겠습니다. 촬영 소리 안 나게 부탁드리겠습니다.
Remains overcast, 21 degrees, but it is a significant 5.2 meter per second wind coming out of the west. Love a dramatic camera zoom. Yeah, one nicely away for the final time today. The 1 billion, one purse, 180 for the winner, 110 million for P2, P3, 80 million one, depending on where you're watching. For those who might be curious in the currency conversion, 180 million one is about 125,000 American dollars, 129,000 euro. 113,000 British pounds. Again, I adore this caddy so much. They're looking where they want to land. Just this generic wide gesture here would be good. And there's where she puts it, although it's a little bit short. Honestly, that's probably better. No eagle. Chance for a birdie. And again, if she can go back to back with those birds, it'll be a new tournament record. A much different angle She's taking those practice swings quickly. It tells me she's looking for more loft here. "17 meters out. Lands in a great spot, starts down the hill. And again, she sits almost perfectly side by side with Lee Ga-young. That unofficially clinches it. The eagle would have made it spicy. Would have seen her pick up 5, of course. That'll take her to 47. Lee Ga-young will almost certainly have her birdie. That'd be 50, so you'd need a combination of a bogey and a birdie to reach a playoff like we had last week. Six total top 10 finishes this season. A runner-up at the Taiyuan Ladies Open. A third-place finish at the Jeju Samdasu Masters. Some of Pak Young-young's other top 10 finishes on the season include 5th at the Medihil Gugopo Championship, tied for 4th at the SK Shieldas SK Telecom Championship. That was back in 2021. Tied for 7th at the McCall Mona Park Open with SBS Golf. Tied for 10th at the 11th KGE Daily Ladies Open. Well, lands with a thud and a big bounce. Her second and third rounds would suggest she'd be in the hunt today, but she is still looking at just 1 point collected. Jung Yoon-ji, she's eagled here before. It's in round 1. It was very dramatic when it happened then. Should be able to pick up 2 more points to move to 37 and 6 for the day. Not quite out of the race for the top 5. And this will give us the best possible preview of what this putt is going to do. From her perspective, a little left to right. From ours, should be a little right to left. She has it. Birdie made, plus 44. 3 points clear of EA1 now, which is good relative to her situation, because a good setup here for EA1 would lean towards birdie. It's 113 meters from the fairway. Should be 9. Brilliant. Catches a bit of that downslope and heads south. To get to 50 points. Yes, she's got it. She salutes the support. And it is all but mathematically guaranteed. It is a 6-point lead heading to the last. Basically, the only way she does not win, this is what point we are in the broadcast when we have to get out the calculators. She could, the worst she could do, she could take 10 strokes on the 18th hole and lose 3 points. That means 47. Birdies, of course, as we know now, are worth 2, which means she needs to triple bogey and Imjini needs to eagle. Otherwise, this tournament's over. Jung Yoon-ji picks up a bird of her own, 37 points she goes. Level with Kim Ji-young 2 for 6th. And now, the final aerial tour of the day. Nothing too crazy about this 344-meter par 4 18th. Uphill from the teeing grounds to the first rise of the fairway. We'll drop back down into the little valley. Shapes, fades over to the right. Anywhere from 135 meters at its shallowest, 90 at its deepest. The in-play position. The pin placement on this final hole is on the left green, of course, which brings both bunkers into action in this final round. 11 yards off of the right, 20 yards off of the front, is where the flag is today. It is impossible to have a playoff, so we know that this is the final drive. It is the magic of Stableford. When there is nothing you can do to lose, no matter how many strokes you take. The only way it's done is if her tee shot is such that she can hole out for eagle. It's the only way. 72nd and final hole. Let's just hope the skies hold for another 30 minutes or so. Get the awards in. Got in the second it did, rather than a couple of seconds after. We'll just settle into the rough. Well, you go round by round. What could have been, what might have been. Some might even say what should have been. We can say Kim Soo-ji at the end of round 1 was nowhere near relevancy in this competition. It's teetering on the verge of missing the cut, and then she just flipped, synonyms, switch. Putting together unbelievable rounds, back-to-back of 14 points. By the end of the day yesterday, she was in a tie for 3rd. By the end of the day yesterday, Park Young-young was outright 2nd. 3 back of EA1. That's the end of round 2, She was back in the fight all day yesterday, pushing for a top spot, but it was quiet. Only 6 points amassed. Jung Yoon-ji ended the day with a round of 13, her second best. She was 4 off the pace, but it was apparent fairly quickly that the other NH Investment and Securities sponsored athlete was not going to be able to keep pace. Park Young-young finishes tied for her second best round of the week. It really felt like something special by the end of the day Thursday. That 15, only Kim Hee-ji was better on a 16. On the march they come. EA1. She's 3rd no matter what. Unless she takes 4 putts from here, but she's probably just going to need 1. Oh, awfully close. To the inside, but short. 11 will be the score of the day. She goes 12, 15, 3, and 11 to finish 41 1 points for the aggregate weekly score.
플레이하겠습니다.
9 back of Lee Ga-young. Kim Soo-ji, she leads the points. But the points today were almost impossible to come by. Just that short uphill, little left to right for par. After opening with the 3. Back to back, 14. But today, only 1 point she was able to amass, and that is assuming this birdie goes. Or this par goes, excuse me, which it does. So she will finish in a tie for 10th position at 32. She's had her wins this past month. Look at that. Such a beautiful sight. It's a very big banner. Can't imagine that was fun to print. I don't know how you would print that. These are the things I think about in the final round when the result is 99.99% assured. Not just the massive group walking up the fairway with them, but lines up all the way around in a big horseshoe. Ready to welcome the last group to the 18th green. Jung Eun-ji will be the first to reach it, 125 meters out of the rough. Basically for the middle of the green. That is target. She's gonna ricochet back and almost flush with the camera tower. Jung Eun-ji now, all she can do is be a spectator. Outlasting the 5-person play, or the 5-hole playoff of 4 people, the 10D1 Charity Open. Runner-up last week, tied for runner-up at the NH Investment and Securities Ladies Championship, which of course is special as someone who was sponsored by that company. And tied for 3rd of the Hanwha Classic. She has had a tremendous season. The 89th ranked golfer in the world. It's the best mark of her career. Im Genie 125. This doesn't go in. The leaderboard's finalized. It was never going to. It's a lot to ask. It's still a good on. Basically pin high, but Lee Ga-young is about 5 minutes or less away from becoming a champion. Now what she's after, not just the win, because that's done. She's won. She is the winner. But she's after the tournament record as well. Doesn't make good contact, chunks it. You could hear it before you could see it. It was a big thud. When the caddy or the tournament official, someone will pip up and go, hey, congratulations. You can laugh at those. If she was tied, you're not laughing. It's a much different reaction. It's been quite the journey. On October 9th. 1999, almost exactly. It's 23 years in a week, so it's a late birthday present to herself. So the other two were able to go up, mark their balls off, repair their divots. Wee Jung-min, she's going to have her course record still, her tournament record still. She shot a 19, picked up a 19-point haul in the final round last year, which is absolutely insane.
57? 살짝 우측으로 들어가면 돼. 네. 딱 55 느낌으로. 플레이하겠습니다.
Think about that for context. 19 is the aggregate score for some players all week long. Pretty wild. That's more like it, isn't it? So she's probably going to bogey. It's probably going to be a little bit of a damper. But not going to have any bearing other than what the tournament score will show in the record books. Blame him for taking a selfie. It's pretty impressive. Slow she goes. That's more like it. Why couldn't I do that last time? Fans are ready to party. Can't blame them for being excited. ENG goes first. Tails over. It's not done rolling yet. It's a moment, a series of moments. The sounds, the ambiance of the supporters. The pictures of a soon-to-be crowned first-time champion tell the story. Genie, for classification purposes, looking for her birdie. It's 5.7 meters. It is uphill back towards the middle. It's coming back online. Just runs out of speed. So she taps in. Cannot take away from her performance. She dazzled again this week. Finishes as the runner-up, plus 44, the final score. You can see See the pride, the beaming smiles. We might even get a bigger smile than that very, very shortly. The putt for par to stay at 50. What will the history books remember? Won't be into the 50s. It's not quite at the level of the Jungmin from last year. But it is still her best performance of the week. She'll mark off. You don't blame her. Let Jung Yoon-ji finish. Have your putt and savor the moment. Trying to keep the game face on, even though it's settled. Loops around, stays out. Unfortunately, it's a bit an illustration of the way the day went. No matter how many times we see these moments, and we've seen quite a few this year, something so special about somebody who has put in the work for years, is about to finally climb to the top step. A moment to cherish, a moment to remember, definitely one to celebrate. Who cares that it's for bogey? Lee Ga-young to make it official and become a champion at last. She's finally done it. There it comes. They're out to meet her. The water shower, the flower shower. How many times has she been a participant in dousing a colleague, a friend? I'm sure it's not quite as pleasant when you're on the receiving end, but it is the ritual. It took her 74 tries. For Lee Ga-young, it took her way more than that. 113 events. 4 times the runner-up, and finally a champion. The winner of the 2022 Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship is Lee Ga-young. Well, that is great caddying. Give me the scorecard before the water comes out. We got to keep that dry. So she'll walk over. She'll dry herself off. That towel's going to come back. It's got to come back. We'll sign the scorecards, witness each other's. And then we will go through our final round highlights. the full leaderboard, and then onto the red carpet.
낄 순 없어 여자 선수를 털어지 우승이라고 썼네. 아 오늘 잠깐만
가영. 나 이거 몇 개월 동안 갖고 다니는지 몰라. 나 이거 하려고 피디만 안 할 거다.
Well, I might have to even get Iga Young a new hat, because that one has some flower petals stuck to it. This is the final leaderboard. She wins by 5 strokes with a 15 in the final round. ENG as the runner-up, and a thoroughly deserved one at that. EA1 deserves a ton of recognition, ton of commendation for another podium finish in her rookie season. Im Hee-jung, Park Young both tied for 4th. Kim Ji-young, 2 with the 12 in the final round after her round of 15 yesterday, finishes 6th. Im Jin-young with the best round of her young career, tied for 7th with Chung Yoon-ji. Hong Jung-min 9th. And speaking of rounds of 12, Choo-hae Reem tied for 10th with Kim Soo-ji, up 15 spots for the day. Ko Chi-yu, the rookie, another big mover, tied for 14th. And now let's go greenside with our champion. Part of the charm of those interviews is seeing the support system in the background. How many people had to be involved in helping her get to this point to finally win on the LPGA Tour of Korea? Friends, family, loved one, coaches, you name it, mentors. Without them, there are no champions, period. And while it's fun to see Bang Min-ji add to her legacy as we did last week, there is just something so beautiful about seeing somebody do it for the very first time. Let's go through the round highlights. This fourth and final round, Championship Sunday. Had the buzz in the air as we came on the round. Began with a vengeance, as did the round for ENG. Birdie at the first after a great approach shot. She would follow that up with another on the second. Got that little tail in towards the hole at the very end. 3 or 4 footer for birdie. Before she could make hers, Lee Ga-young says, oh, okay, me too. I'm in. Let's go on this ride together, shall we? It is the first of what would go on to be 8 on the day. 3 would be next. Look at the shape on this. It's a great bounce up the hill to take some of the speed off, getting closer and closer. And that's about 4 feet away. Was already at 36 points, would go to 38. Now we know she'd have more movement to be done, but if she stopped there, she would have finished 5th. That's how good it was. So consistently, but this was the magical, just enough to get over the line. 3 in a row, 3 of her first 4 at that point. 5 would be next, Team Genie. After the leader parred, she would birdie. Would be her final of the front 9. 6 would be next, EA1. Can't forget about the rookie. She was keeping herself relevant all day long. Be her final of 3 on the front 9. Then Lee Ga-young, 121 meters out. Over the tree, over the sand, off the fringe, and perfectly on line. This close to an eagle. But it would loop around and just stay out, so she'd settle for a par. 42 points is where she would go. That would be good enough for 3rd. But she wasn't done there. Not even close. From the rough at 10, the par 5 that she absolutely dominated. Not just today, but all week long. 3 of the 4 par 5s she would birdie, including that impressive one there at 10. Then on 11, it's a 9-iron from the left side of the fairway. It looked offline, but the fringe had other ideas. Let me just take all that speed away for you. Shoot you into a good spot, and you can do the rest. All the way around the hole, not once, once and a half. EA1 at this point was also looking to rejoin the birdie party. This was on 12 for her second of the back 9, then 13. ENG, who had been quiet. No birdies since the 5th. That is 4 and 7 when you put the front and back together. Should finally have another. Things got a little bit spicy after that. The gap was so incredibly close. But this is one of those seminal moments, a long way away, and finally getting the job done on the par 3. She hadn't birdied 16 all week long. Her second birdie on the par 3 all day, including the one at 4 that we saw earlier. ENG had to respond, but it teeters over the hole and does not drop at that point. It was a 6-point swing. At each birdie, the 17th, then on 18 for one last birdie to move to 46 points, but again, just short. Not quite enough speed to get all the way to the target. Lee Ga-young, she'd have a chunker in the fairway. I think it went maybe 40 yards when all was said and done. But then 2 putts to set this up. It was for bogey. Sure, when you win by 5, you can forgive 1 bogey in the entirety of the final round. 15 points collected on this Sunday, her best by a big margin. And then here come the showers, flour and water variety. Let's go down to the 18th green now for the awards presentation.
기부금을 전달받으실 전북대학교 유희철 병원장님도 앞으로 모시겠습니다. 흑인 안치병 치료의 첫걸음은 정확한 조기 진단입니다. 최첨단 유전 의학 방법이 필요하지만 경제적으로 부담이 돼서 그 진단을 포기하는 아동들이 많은데요. 오늘 선수들의 멋진 샷은 그 치료를 포기해야 하는 희귀 난치병 어린이들에게 정확한 진단과 치료를 제공하는 희망이 될 겁니다. 여러분 다시 한번 박수 보내주시기 바랍니다.
앞에 보시라고.
네, 수고해주신 사장님과 박수님 고맙습니다.
Park Ji-young, she is the representative that helps present the check for 30 million won from all of the charity zone donations amassed at number 9.
나왔는데요. 우리는 수상자에게는 MK전자에서 제공하는 5천만 원 상당의 골드볼이 수여됩니다. 이번 시상은 MK전자 이진 대표이사님께서 수고해 주시겠습니다. 네, 16번 홀인원 수상자는 조혜린 선수입니다. 축하드립니다. 네, 16번 홀에서 홀인원을 기록한 조혜린 선수에게 5천만 원 상당의 골드볼이 수여됐습니다. 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수로 축하해 주십시오. 네, 수고해주신 이진 대표이사님 감사드립니다.
Jo Hae-rim with the hole-in-one on 16, the golden ball she is presented with.
라운드 최다 점수 수상자에게는 익산 컨트리 클럽에서 제공하는 상금 300만 원이 수여됩니다. 시상은 익산 컨트리 클럽 정의상 본부장님께서 수고해 주시겠습니다. 네, 수상자를 발표하겠습니다. 수상자는 1라운드에서 16점을 기록한 김희지 선수입니다. 축하드립니다. 라운드 최다 점수 상금 300만 원이 김희지 선수에게 수여됐습니다. 여러분 다시 한번 박수로 축하해 주십시오.
By the end of the tournament, it's not where Kim Hee-ji wanted to be, but honored and presented with a check for 3 million won for her brilliant round, plus 16 in the first round. She was the leader by a stroke. Unfortunately for her, from there, it just wouldn't be able to maintain that incredible streak. 16 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5, but still the low score of the entire event.
좋은 성적을 기록한 안현주 프로에게 장학금이 수여됩니다. 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수로 축하해 주십시오.
Anyeonju, she was the low amateur. Bouquet of flowers and a scholarship from Korea Land Trust for construction. Should you want to pursue that post-golf?
네, 이제 대망의 2022년 동부건설 한국 폰신탁 챔피언십 우승자 발표만이 남아 있습니다. 수상자에게는 상금 1억 8천만 원과 함께 트로피와 꽃다발이 수여됩니다. 시상은 한국토지신탁 최윤성 대표이사님, 그리고 동부건설 허상희 대표이사님, KLPGA 김순미 수석 부회장님께서 수고해 주시겠습니다. 2002 동부건설 한국토지신탁 챔피언십 영예의 우승자는 4라운드 토탈 49점을 기록한 이가영 선수입니다.
And years in the making, the champion. It helps when the weather's nicer, but it is lovely to see so many players sticking around to take this in greenside and be a part of this moment. She has been a mainstay on tour for the past few years. She's going to get her jacket, she's going to get her check, she's going to get her trophy. Champion at last, Lee Ga-young.
네, 바로 이어서 다음은 한국토지신탁 최윤성 대표이사님께서 트로피와 시상 수표를 전달해 주시겠습니다. 네, 오늘 트로피를 수여받은 여기에 누군가 이가영 선수에게 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수로 축하해 주십시오.
Peng Min-ji last week, she got her trophy, and then she got the commemorative beer chugging trophy to go along with it. It'll be tough to drink from that trophy, but it is still definitely going to be a beautiful addition to her mantle, and 180 million won. We'll see her advance quite significantly in the season-long money list as well.
네, 마지막으로 KLPJ 김숙미 수석 부회장님께서 우승 꽃다발을 전달해 주시겠습니다. 여기에 우승자 이가영 선수입니다. 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수 기념사진 촬영이 있겠습니다. 시상에 수고해주신 세 분과 우승 선수 이가영 선수가 함께 기념사진 촬영을 진행하겠습니다.
우측으로 한 걸음만 이동하시죠. 우측으로. 예, 됐습니다. 자, 앞에 보세요.
네, 오늘 공격적인 플레이로 멋진 기록을 낸 이가영 선수에게 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수로 우승을 축하해 주십시오.
Well, so ends another week on the LPGA Tour of Korea, and as the unofficial chairman of the Stableford fan club, welcome. If it's your first time, I hope you are as entertained by it as I always am. Just something a little bit different to keep things fresh, especially on the backstage of this season. And it is what it took for Lee Ga-young to get her first ever professional win. It has been another lovely week at Iksan. Good weather. You see Lee Jung-min, last year's winner. And now we have a new winner, a bit of foreshadowing perhaps as well. Gorgeous jacket as well. Very unique with the black and white lapels to go along with that fantastic trophy on top of it. We've had a lot of fun this week, and without the tireless effort of our SBS Golf and Spot crews, these tournaments would not make it to you wherever in the world you're joining us from. It is worth acknowledging the work that is put in behind the scenes to help bring these pictures and these words to you. Next week, we head to Pyeongchang, to the Olympic venues that hosted a lot of the ice sports, but at Alpensia next week, we are going for another title. Another $1 billion purse up for grabs, the WeMix Championship with WOW Management and SBS Golf. 3 rounds to find a champion in the home stretch of the season. We will see what Lee Ga-young is able to do when she suddenly goes for a title defense for the very first time. We, of course, still have the SK Network Seoul Economics Ladies Classic at Pinks, the 16th S-Oil Championship the first week of November at Elysian Jeju. We're going to La Vie Belle for the SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship 2022. And then it's December, the Hana Financial Group Singapore Ladies Open and the LF Hazes Point Championship. So still much to look forward to, despite there only being 7 events remaining in the season. a lot of fun this weekend. My sincere thanks to you for joining us. Without you, well, there would be no broadcast to put together, so thank you sincerely. I hope you have a fantastic week, and we look forward to seeing you on Friday in Pyeongchang. One final time, we sign off from Iksan and say so long for now, and congratulations to Lee Gae-young.